I'm grappling with Islam once and I try to throw him off of me, but he's still there. And so then I give him a little harder shove and he's still there. Next thing you know, I'm grappling at 100% because the dude's that strong. Ilia Topuria is a cool guy, but I kind of disagree. I know for sure Islam Makhachev is not afraid of him. I'll tell you this, as a person that's a friend of Islam, a person that's known Islam for years and years and years, he's not afraid of him.
Daniel Cornier has just warned Ilia Topuria not to fight Islam Makhachev as he thinks Islam wrestling is too much for Ilia. However, Daniel explained that Islam Makhachev wants to build a legacy, but hasn't always felt appreciated, and fans expecting a fight with Ilia Topuria might be disappointed because Khabib's team only does what they truly want. He said Khabib and his team are always honest, so when they speak, it should be taken seriously.
Khabib is about to do.
Moreover, Georges St-Pierre shared his thoughts on the matchup, pointing out the impressive abilities of both athletes. He observed that Islam Makhachev has a way of overwhelming his opponents, often dropping them with just a touch, showing how much control he has in the cage. He also praised Makhachev's relentless style and top-level grappling skills. According to St-Pierre, both competitors are highly skilled in every aspect of the game, which makes the fight especially thrilling for viewers.
Yeah, I mean, that's another same thing. I mean, Topuria, when he touches, it falls, you know, and on the other side, Makhachev, he applies so much pressure. He's an elite grappler. I mean, they're both good in every areas. It's a great fight for the fans.
In a separate conversation, St-Pierre praised the fighter's exceptional talent and said that's what makes Makhachev a title holder. Still, he reminded fans that perfection doesn't exist in combat sports. No matter how talented someone is, a single error can change everything. Every fighter is human, and defeat is always a possibility.
Skill set are amazing. I mean, he's champion for a reason, but nobody is invincible. Everybody can lose, everybody can make a mistake.
Daniel Cormier said that during training, he wrestled with Khabib and Islam, and as the bigger guy, he was used to easily throwing off smaller opponents without much effort. But when he tried to do the same to Islam, he couldn't move him. Even after pushing harder, Islam stayed on top, and Cormier had to start grappling at full strength. He was surprised by Islam's power, and admitted he didn't realize how strong he was until they trained at a serious pace.
There's been moments where we're in practice, and I'm going with Khabib or Islam, and I'm the big guy. So generally, a smaller guy gets on top of you. When you decide it's over, you just throw him off of you. No technique, no skills. You just literally grab him and you kind of throw him off of you. I'm grappling with Islam once and I try to throw him off of me, but he's still there. And so then I give him a little harder shove and he's still there. Next thing you know, I'm grappling at 100% because the dude's that strong. But again, I had never really grappled with him in that way, like at a decent pace. So I didn't recognize the strength when he was trying to keep me down.
However, Merab Dvalishvili voiced strong support for his friend Ilia Topuria and his choice to move up in weight. He said the UFC should give Ilia a chance to face Islam Makhachev, but if that doesn't happen, matchups with Charles Oliveira or Dustin Poirier would also be exciting. Merab explained that Ilia is focused on title shots or big-name fights, and he'll stand behind whatever path Ilia chooses. He also spoke highly of Ilia, calling him both a great person and a true champion.
Ilia Topuria, would you prefer him stay at featherweight or would you like to see him go up?
Ilia, he's my good friend and I have so much respect for him, and he said he wants to go up, and I respect and I support his decision. And now it's up to UFC. They either give him Islam. I think they should give Islam. But if not Islam, either it's Oliveira or Dustin Poirier. So Ilia either wants to fight champion or super fights. That's up to him. And yeah, I will just support him, wherever he go, whatever he will do. You know, and he's such a great guy and such a great champ.
Daniel Cormier showed admiration for Ilia Topuria, but firmly stated that Islam Makhachev has no fear of him. Cormier, who has known Islam for a long time, explained that fear simply isn't in Islam's nature. He also mentioned that top contenders like Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, and Michael Chandler don't let fear affect their mindset either. Real fighters, he said, don't operate that way.
Ilia Topuria is a cool guy, but I kind of disagree. well, I know for sure Islam Makhachev is not afraid of him. I'll tell you this, as a person that's a friend of Islam, a person that's known Islam for years and years and years, he's not afraid of him. So while Ilia Topuria may strike some fear in most or some, Islam's not afraid of him. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, like, neither is Justin Gaethje, neither is Charles Oliveira, neither is Dustin Poirier or Michael Chandler. Those guys aren't afraid of each other. They're fighters. And when you're a fighter, fear is kind of the last thing that crosses your mind in regards to another fighter.
Michael Chandler highlighted the size difference between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, noting that Islam is the naturally bigger lightweight. He praised Islam's elite grappling, but gave Ilia the edge in striking. Chandler said if Ilia can stay on his feet and avoid takedowns, he could be dangerous, though he still believes Islam's power, experience, and all-around game make him the likely winner.
If Islam fights Ilia, I mean, I think there's definitely a size difference. I think Ilia is a lot smaller than Islam. Islam is a big lightweight, a tall lightweight, and he's good in every area. However, Ilia's definitely got the edge in the striking department, and Ilia is very, very, very patient. Now, if he's able to not get taken down and he's able to just patiently break down Islam with those big shots that he lands, the big punches that he lands, it's going to be a good night for Ilia. But I think if Islam gets his hands on him and gets him taken down, I mean, grappling with 145-pounders is a lot different than grappling with Islam, who is one of the best grapplers that we've seen in a very long time. He's strong. He's great at doing damage and getting good positions. I'd have to give the edge to Islam just by size, by strength of schedule thus far, and defending the belt, but I wouldn't count Ilia out.
In contrast, Chael Sonnen disagreed with the size gap argument, saying a 10-pound difference isn't that significant. He pushed back on the idea that Ilia has no chance, calling it exaggerated. Sonnen added that elite wrestlers often struggle the most against top-level opponents from the lower weight class.
Do guys that size not know? I mean, there is a different size of guy. Like, there's little guys that don't know they're little guys, and then that's really offensive. That's like really offensive if you call them. I'm not attempting to be offensive. Do 45-pounders and 55-pounders not know? You weigh the same thing. You weigh the exact same thing. If you get on a scale and it says 145, and another dude gets on the scale and it says 155, that scale says the exact same thing. Are you not aware of that? Do guys that size not know that? There is no size difference between Ilia and Islam. It's a 145 versus a 155.
Demetrius Johnson also weighed in, describing the potential fight as intriguing. He highlighted Islam Makhachev's ability to use his reach and throw effective body kicks, but questioned whether Ilia Topuria could capitalize on one of those kicks, transitioning into a takedown to begin his grappling. Johnson pointed out that Topuria is a superior boxer and mentioned that we've already seen how Islam handles a skilled boxer like Dustin Poirier.
Ilia Topuria moving up to lightweight. If he does fight Islam Makhachev, how do you think that fight goes?
I think it'll be an interesting matchup because I look at Islam's very good about using his length and throwing the body kicks. So are we going to see Ilia Topuria catch a kick for a takedown and start grappling with him? I doubt it. Ilia Topuria is a better boxer. We saw what Islam could do against a good boxer when it comes to Dustin Poirier.
Arman Tsarukyan discussed the potential fight, describing it as a very close and competitive matchup. He acknowledged Topuria's impressive boxing skills, but pointed out that he has yet to face an opponent with Islam's wrestling abilities. Tsarukyan believes the fight could go either way, and added that if he doesn't get the next title shot, Topuria would likely be the next in line for a chance at the belt.
If Islam and Ilia fought for the title, how do you see that one playing out?
It's a tough fight. Ilia, better striking, good boxing. He never fought with guys who can wrestle very well like Islam. So we'll say it's a 50-50 fight.
Do you think they're going to give Ilia the opportunity to fight Islam for the title if it's not you?
I think so. I'm open for everybody from top 5.
Alexander Volkanovski acknowledged that Islam Makhachev would be a significant challenge for Ilia Topuria, but noted that Topuria has the skills to catch him. Volkanovski specifically praised Topuria's striking, especially his boxing technique, and emphasized how focused he is on finding the right moment to land his punches. He pointed out that even if the fight isn't going in Topuria's favor, he remains patient and determined, waiting for an opening. However, Volkanovski also suggested that Islam would likely play it safe, being cautious of Topuria's powerful strikes.
Look, it just comes to can Ilia catch him? You know, that's what it is, and he definitely can. Ilia's very, especially with his approach. He really backs his strike and his boxing. He really knows that he will eventually find the chin, and he's stoic till that happens. You know what I mean? He is on task, and he doesn't. You know what I mean? He'll go even if things aren't working. He's still going to try and find it. So I think Islam's going to be a tough matchup for him because Islam can be quite defensive and safe. I think he's going to know he needs to play it safe with Ilia because he knows Ilia's going to have that puncher's chance.
Joe Rogan, on the other hand, stated that it's clear Ilia Topuria has earned his shot at the lightweight title. Rogan argued that when a champion moves up in weight, especially after knocking out big names like Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski, it's clear that Topuria has done everything necessary to deserve the opportunity. He emphasized that Ilia is ready for the 155-pound division and no longer wants to stay at 145 pounds.
Because you have a world champion versus a world champion. Like, if anybody deserves a fight for the world title in the next weight class, it's you. It's simple. It's simple. You knocked out Max Holloway. I mean, it's simple. You knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, one of the greatest of all time. It's simple. That's a no-brainer. That's the fight. You know, he doesn't want to fight 45 anymore. He wants to fight 55. World title shot.
Arnold Allen suggested that Islam Makhachev might hesitate to fight Ilia Topuria, as he may prefer facing more established contenders to strengthen his title reign. While recognizing Topuria as a big fight, Allen speculated that a win over him would be significant. However, Allen admitted that Topuria has consistently defied expectations and wasn't ready to completely count him out, though he still predicted Islam would likely win, possibly by dominating the fight.
I understand why Islam wouldn't want it, right? He wants to fight legit contenders, and he's had like featherweights, ex-featherweights, late notice guys, replacements. He wants to sort of solidify his title reign, but probably is no bigger fight than Ilia, right? If he goes and batters Ilia, it looks pretty good.
Do you think he beats Ilia?
These guys, I don't know. To be honest, I've ruled him out a few. Oh, we're gonna get run. Hello.
About to get ran over. Sorry.
Ah,
my bad.
I don't know. Every time I've ruled him out, he proves me wrong. So I'm not going to do it again. Yeah, I was going to say, I think Islam wins and he gets ironed out. So
Jorge Masvidal expressed complete confidence in Ilia Topuria's grappling, stating he would bet everything on him. He praised Topuria's aggressive and efficient ground game, particularly his strong takedown defense. Masvidal explained that if an opponent tries to wrestle Ilia and makes a mistake, Topuria has the skill to quickly reverse the position, gain control, and put his opponent in a dangerous situation.
I'd bet the house on Ilia. His grappling, offensively, it's very good. If like you shoot it on this guy's legs and you make a mistake and you're the one going for the takedown, he has a very good chance that he might put your ass to sleep.
Beneil Dariush stated that while Ilia Topuria may be the most deserving newcomer in the lightweight division, he doubts Islam Makhachev and his team would be eager to give him another title shot, considering he's moving up from featherweight. Dariush noted that after facing two opponents from 145 pounds, Makhachev's camp likely feels they've already addressed that challenge and would prefer fresh matchups within the 155-pound division. He acknowledged that Topuria is a tough competitor, but pointed out that his featherweight background makes the fight less appealing for Islam's team.
If Ilia is coming into the division, I honestly think he's the most deserving, but I don't think Makhachev and his team right now want to give a shot to another 45er. I think they feel like they did it twice. That's enough, you know. Now they want contenders, and at the same time, but Makhachev also wants to fight new guys, so it's kind of one of those things where you're stuck because you have a new opponent, but he's a former 45er, and you're like, I don't want to fight another 45er. So it's a weird.
Bo Nickal regards Islam Makhachev as the top pound-for-pound fighter currently, but believes Ilia Topuria poses a legitimate threat. He referenced Volkanovski's impressive wrestling performance in his first fight with Islam, suggesting that Topuria might have the tools to challenge Makhachev's grappling and overall skill set.
I think he's the pound for pound number one right now, and I think he can win. And what makes me think that Ilia will do really well against Islam is that Volk's first fight with Islam, I'm like, man, Ilia's wrestling is way better than Volk's. And obviously, you could see how the striking went.
Aaron Pico expressed excitement about the potential matchup, calling it a captivating fight that would generate interest from both fans and the wider sports community. He acknowledged that each fighter has a unique style, and Topuria has certainly made a name for himself with his approach. However, Pico feels that Islam Makhachev's combination of experience and well-rounded abilities would likely be too much for Topuria to handle.
I think it's good for the sport, to be honest with you. I mean, him and Islam, I mean, people really want to see that. Everybody has their own style, and it seems like his style is just doing what he did. Honestly, I believe Islam is just a little too much for him, but I'm also a fan, you know, so I would have loved to see that.
Khabib Nurmagomedov stated that Ilia Topuria hasn't yet earned a title shot. He emphasized that Islam Makhachev, nearing his mid-30s, likely has only a few big fights remaining in his career, making it important for him to face well-established contenders with proven records. Khabib argued that Topuria hasn't yet fought any major names and still needs to build his resume before being considered for a shot at the current champion.
И он дрался, и он даже дрался с чемпионом 66, летел к нему. Он сам на то, да, в Австралию полетел, у него там на заднем дворе подрался. Команда, мы считаем, что Topuria, он достойный боец. Но он чемпион, защитил пояс, выиграл очень серьезных ребят. Но эти все ребята, которые были в 66, даже тот же самый Холлоуэй, который он выиграл, он перешел на 70, он ничего не сделал. Из-за этого нам нужно, чтобы Исламу тоже немного осталось. Если так посмотреть, Исламу скоро 34 будет. Но Ислам тоже хочет драться не с Topuria и с Волконовским, или который вышел на замену с Майканом. Ислам хочет драться с большими именами, которые заслуживают, которые давно уже в 70 килограмм. Ты переходишь вес, заслужи, и у нас примерно вот такая позиция.
Daniel Cormier aligned with Khabib Nurmagomedov's perspective on the potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, suggesting that it might not be worth the risk. He pointed out that Makhachev's previous super fight against Alexander Volkanovski showed that sometimes the reward doesn't justify the risk. Despite Volkanovski being ranked as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter at the time, Makhachev didn't receive the recognition expected from such a significant win. Cormier further explained that super fights are meant to elevate the winner's status, but this typically only happens when the smaller fighter wins. Since Islam is the naturally larger athlete, defeating a smaller opponent like Topuria might not generate the same level of praise or momentum. He agreed with Khabib, emphasizing that the risk outweighs the reward, particularly with Makhachev's limited time left in his career. Cody Brundage shared his thoughts on a potential fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, highlighting Topuria's impressive streak, particularly his knockout victories over top fighters like Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. Brundage stated that if Ilia were to defeat Islam as well, it would elevate him into the conversation as one of the greatest fighters of all time, possibly even placing him in the top 3.
It's a crazy fight. You know, we talked about that. You know, Yusuf obviously at 145, he's on a tear. He's making his come up, and he wants that Ilia fight so bad. They already fought once, but we were talking about if Ilia goes in and knocks out Islam Makhachev, like how high do we put him on the GOAT list? Right? Like to me, I'm like, John Jones is #1 no matter what. I don't think anybody could surpass John Jones for a long time. Obviously it would take a ton, but everyone in my circle at least is like, man, if he goes and knocks out Islam after knocking out Holloway, after knocking out Volk, he's got to be up there like top 3.
Brundage also pointed out Ilia's often overlooked grappling abilities, noting that he's a high-level wrestler and a black belt in jiu-jitsu with strong submission skills. However, he leaned toward Islam as the likely winner, citing the size difference as a crucial factor in an otherwise closely matched fight. He predicted the bout would be exciting and highly competitive.
And he could do it. I think people, like, he's been knocking all these people out, and people really sleep on Ilia's grappling. He's a super high-level black belt with really good submissions, really good wrestling. And so I think people are worried, like saying, like, oh, well, he'll get out wrestled, but he has great wrestling. So, man, I don't know. I would have to go with Islam because he's bigger, and I think weight maybe plays a factor when you have two really highly skilled guys, but that would be an absolute banger of a fight.
What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments section, and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.